All right, let's talk about something that's super important, especially if you're just starting your career. We're going to break down a 5-step plan to help you dodge those quiet little traps that can slow you down before you even get going. Think of this as your guide to building a really strong foundation for your future. Let's get into it. This quote just hits so hard because it's so true. Your future isn't wrecked by some big dramatic flame out. No, it's lost in the small things, the tiny everyday habits that seem totally harmless. It's this quiet little drift that you don't even notice until you look up and realize you're way off course. So, what's the plan? Here it is, our 5-step blueprint. We're going to cover switching off autopilot, finding your courage, acting even when you're not motivated, choosing growth, and making action your default. And the cool part? Each one takes a really common career trap and flips it into a huge advantage for you. Okay, first up, step 1. We've got to turn off that autopilot. You know what I'm talking about, right? This is all about shifting from just reactioning to everything that gets thrown at you all day to actually making conscious, deliberate decisions about where you want to go. And here's the difference in a nutshell. On the left, you've got the trap. Wake up, scroll through your phone, work, feel exhausted, and then do it all over again. Sound familiar? You feel busy for sure, but are you actually moving forward? Now, the plan on the right, that's about making a conscious choice, taking deliberate action. It's the huge difference between just being in motion and making real progress. Socrates really nailed it here. He wasn't saying you have to live a perfect life. Not at all. He was saying you have to live a conscious one. Because think about it. When you're on autopilot, you're not really making choices anymore. And if you're not the one choosing your path, well, trust me, circumstances and other people will be more than happy to choose it for you. So here's a little challenge for you. Just think about your day today. How many of the things you did were actual deliberate decisions, and how many were just gut reactions? You know, reacting to an email, a Slack notification, or someone's request. When you really stop and look, the answer might actually surprise you. So once you start making conscious choices, you're gonna run right into step 2. You gotta have courage. And I'm not talking about, physical run into a burning building bravery. I'm talking about something way more common and honestly way more crucial for your career. Emotional courage. The guts to have those difficult conversations that are absolutely essential for you to grow. I mean, the trap feels easier, doesn't it? Just avoid the conflict, nod and smile, keep the peace. But here's the thing. Every single time you silence yourself, you're not actually keeping the peace. You're just putting your own growth on hold. The real plan is to build up that emotional courage, to state your needs, to defend your boundaries. That's what builds real, lasting respect. And Aristotle was so right about this. Courage is like the foundational quality. It's what makes all the others possible. Think about it. How can you really have honesty or integrity or self-respect if you don't have the courage to give those qualities a voice? So what does this actually look like in the real world? It's simple stuff, but man, is it powerful. Having the guts to just say, that hurt, or I disagree, or even a simple, this doesn't work for me. That's not being confrontational. It's being clear. And clarity is what paves the way for real solutions. Okay, on to step 3, and this one is a total game changer. You have to act without feeling motivated. I know, it sounds completely backward, but this is probably the biggest trap we all fall into. This idea that we have to wait for inspiration to strike before we can get anything done. Yeah, most of us have this equation completely flipped. We think that first comes motivation, and then we take action, right? That's the myth. But the reality is the total opposite. Action comes first. Action creates motivation. Before doing the very thing that creates the feeling, you just have to get in the shower. You just have to start. And this is so empowering. Stop waiting for the stars to align. The right moment isn't some magical thing that just happens to you. The right moment is the one you decide to create. Progress begins with that choice. This leads us right into step 4. Choose growth. It's about intentionally stepping outside your comfort zone. Because let's be honest, that's the only place where real growth and genuine confidence are ever built. Oh, the comfort trap is so seductive. Of course we want to stick with what's familiar. It feels safe. But the problem is, staying safe just shrinks your world over time. The plan is to actively seek out a little bit of friction, to look for challenges. Why? Because that's how you build real, earned confidence. What a great metaphor. You can't sharpen a knife by letting it sit in a drawer. It needs the resistance, the friction of the sharpening stone. And it is the exact same with our skills, our minds, and our character. We need challenges to sharpen us. And here's the direct result of that choice. Every single time you avoid a small discomfort, you're basically teaching yourself, I can't handle this. But every time you face it, you build a tiny piece of evidence that you can. Constant comfort actually makes you fragile. Small, intentional discomforts build confidence. And that brings us to our final step. Step 5. Prioritize action. This one is for all my fellow overthinkers out there. This is all about breaking free from that analysis paralysis and just doing the thing. Thinking and planning, it feels so productive, doesn't it? But so often, it's just an illusion of progress. You can spend weeks planning the perfect first move. The real plan, though, is just to act, to take that first step, even if it's messy and imperfect, because real movement is what creates real results. This is such a critical insight, especially when you're starting something new. You don't need the entire map before you take the first step. You just need enough courage to start moving, because the path actually becomes clearer once you're on it. Clarity is a result of action, not a requirement for it. So as we wrap things up, here's the uncomfortable truth that ties this all together. None of these traps we've talked about, living on autopilot, avoiding tough conversations, waiting for motivation, none of them look dangerous. They look normal. They look responsible even. And that is precisely what makes them so powerful and so easy to fall into. But here's the good news. Just as these habits can quietly chip away at your future, a new set of small actions can quietly rebuild it. You don't have to change everything all at once. Just start small. Today, make one conscious decision. Have one honest conversation. Take one action before you feel ready. And that's the ultimate takeaway. Your future career isn't going to be defined by one giant promotion or one massive project. It's going to be built day by day through the small, repeated choices you make. And the most important thing to remember is that you can start building the future you want with one small action right now, today.